we're talking about sanity lines. As Zamir pointed out, this is the line between sanity and beyond.
And we'd like to welcome on in the studio with us Ms. Encik Muhammad Marzuki Muhammad, who is the NLP trainer and meta coach.
Yes.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Right, explain to us first, what is a meta coach? What is an NLP trainer?
Basically, when we talk about NLP, it is a system technology of how to manage ourselves, the way of our being, doing and having. I would say in short, NLP is the user's manual for being, doing and having. Human being, human doing and human having the things that they want to have in our lives. And that brings us to the sanity line, because when we talk about what we want to have in our life, frequently things that happen in our life are the things that we don't want to have. Things like, as you mentioned this morning, what's happening in Gaza. People get upset, uptight about what's happening there. So this is where we need to realize where we need to draw that line to remain sane or go insane. Some people can go frothing at the mouth about what's happening over there. Oh, my brothers and sisters are being tortured, they are being slaughtered over there. Yes, we empathize with what's happening over there. The question is, where do we draw the line to remain sane? Where do we draw that line where we take responsibility for and responsibility to? That's what sanity line is all about.
So when it comes to reacting to incidences that we don't want in our life, what's the first thing that we should do?
The first thing that we should do is to know where our responsibility lies. We are responsible for our thinking, feeling, and also what we say and do. That's our responsibility. So meaning to say, whatever that I say and do, I need to be sure that that brings me benefit and others benefit. This is what we call ecology. So whatever that I do, if it is done out of love and kindness to others, then it brings benefit to all. Now, I am also responsible to others for what I say and do, but I am not responsible for what they say and do. So that's where we draw the sanity line. So
responsible to, but not responsible for.
Yes, I am not responsible for their behavior. I am not responsible for what they say and do. However, I am responsible for creating a good, solid relationship with them. Now, despite whatever that I have done in order to create that, if they choose to do things that just boggles my mind, that appears to be insane, that's their business. That's not my business. My business is to do the thing that appears sane, logical and reasonable to me. My business is to continue to be loving and kind to you. My business is to continue to say things and do that enhances the wealth of the universe, that enhances a person's well-being. If the other person chooses to do things differently, for example, in the workplace, you have this boss whereby typically the subordinate does this work and that work, does this thing and that thing, and yet the boss is always breathing down his neck. And this subordinate say, what can I do about my boss? I said, there's nothing that you can do about your boss, but there's everything that you can do about how you do your work, how you produce that results. What your boss does is none of your business. It's his business.
As long as he pays you on time.
But what if there are certain people who always gets upset over anything, whether it being an external factor or something that's going on in the world, they will just complain and blab about it, or even little things that's happening and that doesn't make him or her happy, and they just complain and complain and complain. Is that a good thing to complain to when to voice it out? Basically, you know what they say, right? Most of the people, short fuse, yes, but most of them, those who complain a lot, when they lash it out, they tend to have lower blood pressure because they just release it. But the people hearing it are the ones who are more
get the high blood pressure.
Yes. Is it true though?
What I would...
So who will be insane quicker? The people who's complaining or the people who's listening to the complaints?
So that's where the responsibility too comes in.
Yeah.
So when a person just lashes out their emotion, we live in a physical universe where energy is neither created nor destroyed.
Okay.
So if a person just throws out that unresourceful, angry energy, that person may feel, I got it off my chest.
Yeah.
But who's on the receiving end?
That's right.
Yeah, the husband, the wife, the children, the cat. Who's on the receiving end?
Where does the buck stop? Buck stops and nowhere. It keeps going on.
So the sanity line is about knowing that I'm the one who has the ability to transmit energy to the universe. I want to ensure that the energy that I transmit is positive, is empowering, is helping others.
Yep.
If it is not, then I would want to do something about the way that I think and feel, because whatever way that I feel comes from the way that I think about it. Yeah? Things happen in this world we have no control over. Prices of fuel, for example.
Yeah.
We have no control
Insane,
over it.
though.
But let's talk about you know, the people who are actually talking about giving the complaints or lashing it out.
Yes.
And also on the other side, where the person who is on the receiving end. How should one deal with this? Basically, in terms of keeping your sanity levels intact, right? Okay. When you are the receiving line, how should you deal with the people who complains a lot and who are always unhappy with any situation?
So when I am on the receiving end, I just need to remember that firstly is that my map of the world, how I see the world, and the way that person sees the world are totally different. Yeah, we need to accept that we human beings see the world differently. So what appears sane, logical to me may not be sane and logical to the other person. So when another person lashes out in that way, what I need to realize is that, hey, this is very fascinating, the way that this person is seeing this world in this way. This is a very good subject to study. And I just need to realize that that person has every right to their opinion. I need to respect that. As much as I respect my opinion, I also want to respect the other person's opinion. Now, what I may not appreciate is the way that person brings out his opinion, maybe in a way that is complaining, maybe in a way that is being angry. I may not appreciate the way that that person is behaving. Now, what the sanity line is to realize that I have no control over that person's behavior. The sanity line is to know that I am not responsible for that person's behavior. I am responsible for my behavior. So what I need to do is, when I receive that, I need to be able to manage the way that I think and feel, so that I don't get into that state as well. Because we get into a certain state because of the way that we think and feel. If I were to follow that person's way of thinking, feeling, due to that person's behavior, I also get into that unresourceful state. And in that way, I may also lash out to that person or lash out to some other people because of that. Then I am not being responsible with my responses.
Well, politics is something we cannot run away from. And that probably gets our blood pressure going one way or the other on a daily basis. How do we really siphon through all the arguments, get to the crux, and avoid overreacting to statements and news releases?
Politics, there are certain things that brings your blood pressure up. Politics, money and death, among the things. Now, the thing about politics from my perspective is that politics is about the way that we organize ourselves in society. We want to organize ourselves in a democratic way. We want to organize ourselves in a dictatorial way. And what are the values that we want in society? So as far as I'm concerned, politics is the domain of every person in the country. That's why every 4 or 5 years we need to go to the polling station in order to vote. At the same time, the way that we have organized, the way that we organize ourselves in the country is that we have political parties. So these political parties represent certain opinions. So what gets people's angst is that when certain political parties that they disagree with starts to say and do something that just because they cannot control the way that they think, they get angry about it. Now the way that I see it is that particular party that is against your political opinion has every right to that opinion. They have every right to do what they want to do. The question is, what do you do about it? Do you do ways and means just to bring them down, which to me is counterproductive, or are you taking the initiative to do something that will build or promote your political ideas? Whether you are involved in any political parties or not, that's secondary. But as a concerned citizen, are you doing something to promote your ideas, to promote your values? So if we were to take, for example, what's happening in the Gaza, instead of you mentioning about demonstrating against what Israel is doing, what are you doing to promote the well-being of the Palestinians in Gaza?
That's one of our points.
So that is a more productive thing to do. I remember once, it was the late Mother Teresa. She was invited to speak to a big conference. I think it was movement against war, and she declined. She said, when you have a conference to promote peace, I'll come.
If it's anti-war, no. If it's pro-peace, yes.
Because these are negative words that we sometimes use without realizing that, you know, maybe we could have gone in a more positive direction. When it comes to relationships, we've already talked about various spheres, how the media relates to us, how we relate to our politicians, how we relate to our bosses, but our spouses, the people closest to us, these are the people that probably influence our sphere of life at the crux, at the core. So how do we deal with them?
Again, know that they are entitled to their own opinion.
On a daily basis.
On a daily basis. On a daily basis. I need to take a step back and say, that's none of my business.
So there is a line to draw.
There is a line to draw. Even though the person is just next to you, you still have to draw that line.
My responsibility, for example, to my spouse, in the event that I see her doing something that is totally against my ideas, totally against my values, my responsibility is to give her the feedback when she is ready to receive,
and also support.
In the best possible way. I need to use all the skills of communication and relationship to bring my ideas to her, so that she can appreciate and understand my ideas. Now, having exhausted all of the resources that I have in communicating that, and she decides not to take any notice about what I say, and she does something totally contrary, that behavior is none of my business.
And I like the fact that you also mentioned being responsible and response-able. So being responsible is different from response-able. So response-able, you are responding to certain things and also providing support, like you said, you know, being a husband to the wife. But being responsible as a husband is different altogether.
Because really, if you know what is none of your business, you have more time to spend on minding your own business.
Exactly.
And taking care of yourself so you can help others.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's been fantastic talking to you. Really a lot of key takeaway points that we've had on the show thus far. And thank you so much. We hope to have you again on the show.
Thank you for having me here.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.